With Star Wars The Force Awakens opening this week, and Christmas just around the corner, here's a question I bet you won't be asked anywhere else. Is it sacred or sacrilege to wish someone a very merry Star Wars Christmas? How about a Christmas worship service inspired by the movie, right down to a nativity scene in which the leading characters will be played by the characters from Star Wars? So what do you think? Is that simply ridiculous, crazy pandering to popular culture? Or could it be tapping into some of the most ancient and sacred messages in the Christmas story and also in the Star Wars story? No, I am not making this stuff up. In fact, there are churches doing it. Churches as far away as Berlin, Germany, and right here in the United States, in the great state of New Jersey. The Zion's Church in Berlin will be using music and images from the Star Wars series because, as Vicar Ulrike Garve has said, there are theological motives and parallels between Star Wars and Scripture. He goes even further, talking about texts in Romans about overcoming evil and how that will play into the story. But going much further than that church in Berlin is New Jersey's Liquid Church and its Cosmic Christmas. That's what they're calling it, not me. What will happen at Cosmic Christmas? Well, kids will sit on, again, their term, Darth Santa's lap and take pictures with Lord Vader and his stormtrooper elves. I kid you not. They will then proceed to a worship service in which the birth of Jesus will be reenacted with live characters not from the first century and from the Bible, but with the characters from Star Wars. I don't know who's going to play the baby Jesus, Mary, Joseph, or the wise men, though that would be a really interesting thing for you to think about. If you were going to use Star Wars characters, knowing what you know about them, who would you assign to what role in this ancient and holy story? And if it doesn't work for you to do Star Wars, think about other characters in popular culture. Who do you think is living out the roles that we learn about from the Christmas story? And why do they inspire you as they do? See, here's the thing. We could get deeply cynical about this, and I appreciate that for some people this goes much too far, and who knows, maybe it does. I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I'm not a purist about that story, and I'm not a Christian, so I probably don't experience, in fact, I certainly can't experience, as sacred as I think the whole thing is, the way an insider, a believer, would. That said, every sacred tradition began somewhere else. Every sacred practice demanded at least a little bit of borrowing from some previous culture so that it could be understood. Santa Claus? Christmas trees? I know they're not in the Bible, but they are part of the sacred observance for so many, and they're borrowed. So maybe the real issue isn't here, is this good or is this bad? But how do each of us decide when borrowing feels like part of an eternal sacred practice and when it just feels like pandering and chasing audience? I'm not sure there's going to be any one rule, but I think those are probably two good norms to examine. Do we borrow from popular culture and allow it to inspire us simply as a marketing tool? Or are we really engaged with our ancient traditions and contemporary culture so that more people find more meaning because of the stories we love most? Not sure where any of this falls, but sure that if you're thinking about this, it's bound to be a merrier and a more meaningful Christmas.